And that is when it became clear. She wasn't physically tired. She was mentally and emotionally overloaded. And honestly, this is something that I see all the time when I'm coaching women. I've seen it in myself in years past. You think you're tired, but you're actually carrying things that are quietly draining you. Hi, my friend. Welcome to the Bounce Back Black Woman podcast. I'm Dell, and I've overcome some of the most devastating heartbreaks I could ever have imagined. Do you find yourself stuck in sadness after a broken heart, asking God, why me? Well, I'm here to help women just like you heal and build the resilience to overcome life's greatest hurts. If you long for joy and confidence again, this podcast is for you. So grab your headphones and those heartbreaks. Let's talk. Hey there, my friend, and welcome back to Bounce Back Black Woman. I want to start out today's episode with a question, and I want to ask you this. Have you ever had a day where you didn't really do that much, but somehow by the end of it, you felt completely drained? And I'm not talking about the kind of drained that is sleepy, like you didn't get enough sleep the night before, and not the I need a nap kind of tired from cleaning out the garage or the backyard. I'm talking about that heavy, low energy, almost disconnected kind of feeling, like you just don't have it in you. That is what we're talking about today. Because there's a difference between simply being tired and experiencing fatigue. And so if you've been feeling drained or empty or even just a little bit indifferent lately, I think this episode might help you to start understanding why. I was working with a client this week, and she said something that really stuck with me. And here's what she said. She said, Dell, I don't understand it. I'm not even doing that much, but somehow I just feel exhausted all the time. And so as we started talking and exploring that, I asked her to walk me through her day. And I didn't want to just hear what she did. I asked her to share what she was thinking, what she was feeling, and what was somehow sitting and hiding in the background. And that is when it became clear. She wasn't physically tired. She was mentally and emotionally overloaded. And honestly, this is something that I see all the time when I'm coaching women. I've seen it in myself in years past. You think you're tired, but you're actually carrying things that are quietly draining you. So let's break this down. Physical fatigue. This is the kind of fatigue that we understand, that we know. You didn't get enough sleep, or you've been running around all day, and your body just needs rest. And so when you rest, you feel better. Now, emotional and mental fatigue, this is different. This is when you're constantly thinking about something unresolved. You're replaying conversations over and over again in your head. Or maybe you're carrying stress that you haven't yet processed. Or you're avoiding decisions that you know you need to make. And here's the key. Rest doesn't fix this kind of fatigue. You can sleep for 8 whole hours and wake up still feeling drained. And that's because your body rested, but your mind and your emotions didn't. So, this kind of fatigue shows up like this. Maybe you open your laptop and you just stare at the screen, unable to figure out where to start. Or you say to yourself about certain things or tasks, I'll do it later. And you say that over and over again, kicking the can down the road. Or maybe you feel unmotivated. but you don't even really know why. Maybe you don't feel excited about things that you used to enjoy, and they feel like chores instead of joy. Maybe you're present in the midst of things and people and situations, but you're not really there. And maybe sometimes you just feel indifferent. And that's the one that sneaks up on people, because indifference doesn't feel like burnout. But what it is often a sign of emotional depletion. I remember another coaching conversation where a woman told me, I'm not sad. I'm not overwhelmed. I just don't feel anything. I feel a little bit numb. And that right there, my friend, that's not peace. That is depletion. So why does this kind of fatigue, depletion, hurt so badly? Well, it's because this kind of fatigue is confusing. On the outside, your life might look fine. Anyone looking at you wouldn't be able to tell because you're functioning, you're showing up, you're handling responsibilities. But on the inside, internally, you feel off. And so you start questioning yourself. Why don't I have the energy that I used to have? Why can't I just push through this? And the dreaded, what is wrong with me? And my friend, that question right there is where the damage starts. Because you assume that the problem is you, when in reality, you just might be carrying more than you've acknowledged. And here's where I want to say this very, very gently. Sometimes when you feel drained like this, it's not random. It's a sign that something in your life is out of alignment, or maybe unresolved, or even hasn't been fully faced yet. And that can keep you in the same place, even when you want to move forward. When I think about this concept and this situation in my own life and the lives of those that I've come across, it reminds me of a scripture from Matthew 11:28. Come to me, all of you who are weary and carry heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. Notice that the scripture didn't say tired. The scripture said weary. The scripture didn't say busy. The scripture said carrying burdens. And that distinction matters because God isn't just speaking to your schedule. He's speaking to what it is that you're holding and carrying. So here's what I want you to reflect on today. I don't want you to ask yourself, what did I do today? I want you to ask yourself this. What did I carry today? You might be surprised at how just that simple change in question expands what your mind goes to as you begin to answer. And it expands to things like what's been sitting on your mind? What have you been avoiding? What in your life feels unresolved? Or what decision have you been putting off over and over again? Because sometimes that exhaustion that you feel is coming from something that you just simply haven't faced. And once you can name it and admit it and address it, then you can begin to release it. And you will feel lighter and more joy and less stuck. And so if you're listening to this and you're thinking, yeah, something about this feels a little bit too familiar, I want you to take a few minutes and go take my How Stuck Am I quiz. Because sometimes what feels like exhaustion is actually something deeper that just hasn't been identified yet. And that's what's got you feeling stuck. But when you're in the middle of it, you just can't see the forest for the trees. So head on over to bit.ly/howstuckami. And my friend, you don't have to live in a constant state of feeling drained or stuck, because there is clarity on the other side of this. Trust me. And once you see it, everything starts to shift. It's like moving from park into drive. So before we wrap this episode up, I want to share something with you. I'm super excited to say that we are getting closer to episode 100 of this podcast. And honestly, that feels surreal for me, because I remember when this was just a dream and a prompting from God to start it. And so I am going to be celebrating that 100th episode with a giveaway. I'm going to be choosing one winner to receive a signed copy of my upcoming book, Ruthless Intentionality. And 2 other lucky winners will receive Bounce Back Black Woman t-shirts, which are coming with a whole line of merchandise for the Black woman who is bouncing back. And so to enter, all you have to do is head over to CoachDell.com and take the How Stuck Are You quiz. Or you can go straight to the link I shared above, bit.ly/howstuckami. Take the quiz. You'll benefit from it, and you'll also be entered automatically to win one of those upcoming giveaways. And when you take the quiz, make sure to screenshot your results, because I'm going to be referring to those scores in episode 100, and you'll want to know what your score was. So until next time, my friend, I want you to take care of yourself and your heart, and we will see you in the next episode. Well, that's it for today, my friend. I really hope this episode inspired, encouraged, or just plain comforted you. If so, please share it with a friend who might be struggling in her own healing journey. And if you take a moment to leave a quick review on Apple Podcasts, you'll help other women find encouragement through their heartbreak. Remember that God is holding your hand along this journey, and guess what? I'm holding the other. Life is short, so bounce back, Black woman.